So yesterday we discussed object class. So mostly this is the full stack training. In that mostly I covered this core Java concept, all this. So here these are the core concept of Java. Inside this we have a started with Java introduction of object class, garbage collector, collection, and then status scope, package, Java conversion and primitives, Java syntax, string encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, operator overloading, overriding, abstract class interface, lambda is remaining, lambda expression as static import, which will be coming in this Java 8, and datetime API we will discuss. Array collections, array completed, collections is remaining. More about collections framework is also remaining, and exception handling. So almost whatever inside this content we cover this core Java concept. So if you'll go here, yesterday we discussed object class, that is also part of the core Java which we discussed. So inside this app 1, app 2 and all we completed this all. And remaining one more thing I told, thread we will complete. So that is we will complete from this basic of from there. And apart from this object class, yesterday we completed, given some 3 output tasks. So just go through that and run this program for object class. So if you see this, so almost we completed all the core Java concept. Only these 3 is remaining. One is collection, and then Java 8 lambda, 13 point is remaining, and then 14 is remaining date time, and 16, 17 is remaining, 18 is remaining. So 16 and 18 we will complete today, and collections and Java 8 maybe tomorrow will complete. So I'll refer this tutorials right now, because mostly programmaticals we already completed this core Java. So see here, this is the Java module here. So we have multiple modules in there in Java T point. So inside that, if you'll go for the Java module, so this Java module, what is Java? History of Java, features, difference from the C and Java, hello world in Java, program internal, how to set the path if you want to install Java in your local machine, already discussed in first class. And JDK, JRE, JVM is a theoretical part, what is difference in that. And then variables, we already discussed variable data types and operators, keywords and all. So these all are the some intro of Java, basic intro. Then we have a control statement. So this is the control statement: if else, switch, loop, for loop, do while loop, break, continue. These all are the control statement. So most of this statement we already used in the programming. If else, switch we already seen, for loop we seen, while loop also we seen, and do while loop, break, continue. So these all are control statement. If you want, just you can revise this topic, just basic of Java tutorials, then control statement which we already covered. Now we'll go for the object class. So here oops concept already we covered, like API, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance, encapsulations and all. So oops concept, naming conventions, you can check. And then object class, method, constructor. So object class and method, constructor, a static keyword, this keyword already we completed, right, through the programmatical. So if you want to do the theoretical or some of the programming from this, so just refer this site, so you will get some idea. After that, inheritance. So if you'll go here, Java inheritance we already seen is a relationship, extends, implements and all. Is a relationship, has a relationship from one class to another class. So this inheritance we already seen. Polymorphism means operator overloading, operator overriding seen. like same name, same parameters, same name, different parameters and all we seen already. Super keyword already we seen. IIB instance initialization block we seen. Final keyword, final variable, final method we already seen. So this Java polymorphism concept also, if you want to go for the theoretical, just you can go this. Recording, we will start this. I think they should have to start this recording. I'm not sure how they will do recording. I don't have any options to record this session here.
Maybe admin. So
Yeah, admin can record this. This will be happen in my computer only. So can anyone inform in this group to record this session? Right now I am going this just for this uh, basic details which we have already completed. What all are the things I completed? So this polymorphism also I completed. Abstractions like abstract class interface, this also I completed. So just if you want to go for this theoretical difference and all, just you have to go for this Java abstraction. And after that, what we completed? Array I completed. So Java array also I completed. Yesterday I complete object class. So this what is object class, how we will create and all. And then wrapper class also we created before. So wrapper class also completed, and this is not required. These all are the old concept, and this all operator overloading, operator overriding, object class, and the class difference and all we completed. Now after that we complete a string also. So this is the string, Java string already I completed. The remaining is exception handling. This is remaining exception handling. Just multi-threading if you want to go, because that is not in this.
Recording in progress.
That is not in this subject. But if you want, I'll complete this multi-threading, and exception is mandatory. And after that, these all are the old things. Then we have a date time. So date time we have to complete, and then we have a one more topic is remaining, that is very very important topic, is a collection framework. So this collection framework I have to complete. Apart from this, we completed all core Java concept which is required for this full stack training. So if you want, just go through this. So in this Java tip, any website you can refer, either W3 Java tip point or any others. uh, just theoretical, because mostly whatever we completed here, so mostly we completed through the programmaticals, and whatever the respective theoretical was there, just I have given some brief idea for that. But if you want details information for the all the topic, then you can go through here, what is this and all. So this all I completed. Now we will go for this. The next chapter is exception, multi-threading, and Java date time and collection is remaining from this. These four topics is remaining. And after that, what will go? Here we'll take this W3 school as a reference. So in that, we will go for this SQL. So if you want to go for this full stack training, so this full stack training, we have three things is required. One is Java backend. So basic core Java I have already learned. Now we need a SQL which have to store the database. So this is the third layer. So this SQL database or any database is required. In this subject, which database is mentioned here? Anyway, SQL is good for this. if you are going for this. So SQL sequels we can go. So this is the database which will be complete after this 4 topic completion. And once this will be completed SQL, then we will go for this UI part. Before that UI part, we have to complete some of the tools. Like the tools will have a Java full stack development tools. Just we will give some basic overview for these tools. Like we have a Maven. Maven is a build tool. So this Maven we will go for this. This Maven, which will be generate a jar file to run the backend application, and then SQL compiler, which have to run this SQL commands and all, and IDE, any IDE you can use. So whatever the respective tools will be there, Jenkins, Dockers, Kubernetes, Jenkins, and so these all I will give you this overview mostly. So after this SQL completions, just we will give from some of the basic tools which is required for this full stack training that we will give. After that, so 1 days it will take for that, and 1 days for SQL, and 2 days for this fourth topic, exception, multi-threading, collection, and Java 8. 2 days it will take for this, and then we will go for this React or Angular. So based on your choice, we will complete and we'll go for the real-time project. So that real-time project we will take as a reference from here, or if you want, then we can have others project also that we will discuss. So here we have a multiple full stack is there. Just we will go for this, but basic first we have to complete React.js, so some basics and all, then we will go for that. So now we will start here. What all are the remaining things are there? You can take as reference of W3 or Java 2 point. So W3 mostly we can use for this SQL and UI perspective. So UI we have HTML, CSS, JavaScript overview. For that basis we will go for the W3, or SQL purpose we will go for the W3, and React is there. So if you want to go for the React, so here we have a React basics will be there, so that we can learn some theoretical part from here, and then we will go for the real-time examples which we need to use or create in our real-time project. So how can you all prepare, like how you will install this React, or how you can install this SQL, how you will install this Java in your machine, so that you can prepare from yourself. If you need, I can give you the overview. Just you can search on there Google, and how you will install step by step. You will get some overview for that. Just you have to download all and try to install all the software in your local machine, so that you can also try to create a local real-time project, or if you want to run this real-time project, you can able to run this project in your local machine also. So now we will start today. So this is the topic. If you want, take this reference for this Java. This is for Java, and this is for SQL and React and some UI related things. And then we have this project which we will take from this reference, or we have some created project also will be there, so that we will take. So here we have a full stack. So anyway, this will be taken, any one of the project we can take as a reference first, then we will go for the each implementation. Now we will continue here. 4 topics as remaining. So exception handling, multi-threading, and Java date, runtime and then collection. So collection will complete tomorrow. Right now we will go for the exception handling. So exception handling we seen like while we run this local project in most of the project we seen array out of bound exception, index out of bound exception we seen right before. So why this exception is coming and how it's coming? So mostly suppose if you are doing some abnormal conditions or some normal conditions, in that cases we have a exception will happen. Like if your program is not able to run for particular that in somewhere something is happening. So this exception handling is a way which can handle this, and then program can be executed. If any exception is coming, either we have to print this exception and after that we can continue this, or we will show there like this because of this we are getting this error. So that easily we can understand, oh, either we have a stuck here, so that's why our program is not able to run. In that cases we are using exception handling. So exception handling in Java is the one of the powerful mechanism to handle this runtime error. So the normal flow of the application can be maintained. So how this exception handling is a exception means it's a abnormal condition, something happening in your program, then that program is not able to run. In that cases exception will occur. So either you have to handle this exception or this program will be uh, stopped in that if you are getting any errors or exception. So exception handling mechanism to handle this error such as class not found exception, IO exception, SQL exception, remote exception, like this. So we seen while we run here many program we run, in that time we seen in a string, in wrappers and others, we seen some of the exception was came. So why this exception? Because of something was a issue in that. So see here we have a throwable is a class, is the main class. Inside that we have two things is there, one is exception, another is error. So inside this exception also we have a multiple exceptions are there, IO exception, SQL exception, class not found exception and runtime exception. So runtime exception also have some arithmetical exception will come, null pointer exception, number format exception, index out of bound exception. For index out of bound exception we'll have a two categories, index out of bound exception and string out of bound exception. So there also we seen a string while we went for this string topic, there we seen a string out of bound exception. So why this is coming we will see. And errors like suppose stack overflow errors, virtual machine errors, out of memory errors, like if your program running and this memory has out of that limit, then it will go for this errors. But in exception we can handle errors, we can't handle in that situation, but exception we can handle in that time. Either we have to add some exceptional handler. So how we will handle that we will show in this program, but here we can handle the exception. So that's why exception handle can be handled by this program, but errors can't be handled because this will happen in this runtime, and if memory is out of memory error will be there, so in that time we can't add this memory or something. So it is irrecoverable and this is recoverable exception. So here we have a SQL exception related for a database. Once we will go for this database, in that time suppose this query is not able to fetch and all, in that cases we will go for the SQL exception. IO exception related for input output exception, and class not found exception. Suppose we have a multiple class we are extending, if we are going for the inheritance concept or something, so multiple class extending, in that cases what will happen, IO exception will come, like sorry, class not found exception will come. Suppose that class is not run properly or having some issues, so that A class and B class is there, so this A class is not able to call this B class, or B class has not found in that particular package, then in that cases we have class not found exception will be there. This runtime exception, these all are the compile time, and this is runtime exception is there, arithmetical exception, null pointer exception. So arithmetical exception, suppose some numbers you are dividing, some numbers you are dividing by 0 or something is happening, in that case we'll have an exception, arithmetical exception. null related things will happen. In that cases we have a null pointer exception. Suppose if your numbers is not informated, something is different, then we have a number format exception. Or if your array or a string having out of index, like suppose you have declared index is a 5 and you are putting some value as a 6, so there will be some out of bound exception will come. So index out of bound exception will happen either array or in a string. So both where we seen, once we went for this array, that we seen array out of bound exception. Once we will go for this index, then we'll go for this index of a string out of bound exception in array, a string, sorry. So exception we have a two type, is a checked and unchecked, and others is array. So see here, checked exception. Checked exception will have a SQL exception, IO exception, and all is a checked exception. And unchecked exception is a array out of bound exception, null pointer exception, and all arithmetical exception. Error is out of memory, virtual memory, some error will come, then we have a error. So how we will handle, the question is how we will handle this exception. Suppose if any exception is coming, error can't be able to handle in the program. Once your error is coming, your program will be terminated. But if exception will be there, you can handle this exception. How? By using try, catch, finally, throws and throws. These all are the keywords are there. So what is try, what is catch, what is finally, what is throw, and what is throws. So through that, these four keywords, we can handle the exception. So example you seen here. This is arithmetical exception. How? Because this is some numbers we are printing, integer data numbers divide by 0. So this is if you are doing some numbers divide by 0, so this code may be will have some exception. Why? Because of arithmetical exception will come. Numbers if you are dividing by 0. So how you will handle this exception? The question is, so first whatever the data is there, whatever the operations we are doing, some business or executions or operations, we have to handle in this try block. So this try is a keyword which we have to use, like in the main method we have a try. So this try open and close braces is there, inside that we have a data. So this is a int variable is there, in data type variable is there, but whatever business logic you have to write in this try block. Suppose here we are declaring data as a variable integer type and we are doing 100 divided by 0. So that is not applicable. 100 divided by 0 is not applicable, and this is number type. So means some arithmetical related exception will come. So if any error will come, so what we have to do? We have to do in this catch block. Either we have to handle the exception if try is happening and this any error is coming, then we have to handle this through the catch block. So we knows, like maybe this is some data, numeric type of data we are using. So some exception may occur while we are going for the divide by 0. So either we have to handle this exception by using catch. So we make as a catch block, and inside that we handle arithmetical exception as a e reference. Arithmetical exception as a e reference. And SOP of e we are printing this reference. So this e and then SOP of rest of the code will be executed. Suppose after this e, whatever the rest of the code will be there inside our business logic, that will be executed. Means program can't be terminated here. Why? Because of we are handling the exception by using try catch. If you are not using try catch, then your program will be terminated here only, because some handle error will happen. 100 divided by 0, it won't be applicable due to arithmetical exception. So if you run this program, so why this Java exception internally extend exception class? So here we have a exception is there, right? This exception is there. So internally here either we have to extend this in this Java exception, either we have to extend the exception class or we have to import the package. So here they will import the package, or internally if you are not doing, that is also fine, because these both are part of java.len. So java.len already we seen once we went for the package concept. Then we seen like len package is the default package. If you are not using import, automatically len package will come. So this exception is coming from the java.len package. So here if you are not extending, that is also fine, because len package will be there. Directly we can call this try catch inside that. Either you can extend and not an issue. So in this C here, if we run this program, here we are getting arithmetical exception. Why? Because of by zero rest of the code. So this exception happened here. Some error came inside this in data 100 by 0. So some exception came. So exception handled by the catch. So we will get a error SOP here. SOP what? Arithmetical exception. Arithmetical exception by 0 slash by 0 divide by 0. And after that, whatever the SOP or whatever the business logic code will be there, that will be executed. So here we put it SOP as a rest of code, so that is coming. Understand? Like that we can handle the exception in a real scenario. If you will go for any project, we have a multiple exception. Suppose in a string we handle as a null, we are passing as a null, a string s equal to null. So system dot output s dot length. So this null s equal to null is there. So this is null is nothing is there. Just a null is a inside this. So if you are passing to length of this null, this s dot length value, so in that cases what will happen? We don't have any string value inside this. This is the null. Null is a keyword which have either empty or zero value. So in that cases, if you are to checking this length of s, so this you will get a null pointer exception. See here we are passing a string abc as a string. Now what we are doing, we are passing as a integer dot parseInt. ParseInt already we seen in this program, right? So while we want to convert from a string to numbers, so why we are doing this integer as a parseInt s, so we are getting some exception as a number format exception. And here we have an index. So this is the index. We created array, and then array we have a size is 5, mean it is a start from 0 to 5. But here what we are doing, we are passing a size 10, but here only we have declared size will be from 0 to 5. If we are using 6 7 8 9 10, in that cases we'll have a array out of bound exception, number format exception, null pointer exception, arithmetical exception. These things we can handle if you are getting any exception in the program. So you can handle by using try catch throws. So this is the exception part. So either we can have a try catch block, or we can have multiple catch block, or others have nested try, finally block, throws keyword, exception propagations. These all are the theoretical part, like how we will handle. So this is the basic overview for that, how we will handle the exception. So mostly we are using this all exception as a arithmetical exception, null pointer exception, array out of bound exception, SQL exception. So these all are we will see in this project. Mostly we are using that one only as a exception part. And if you'll go for the date time, so in this date time, mostly we are using date time API. So this date time API, which is coming from many of the package, we have a java.time, java.utils is there. So these all are the packages are there, java.time, java.utils, java.sql, java.text. So there mostly is coming from the date. So if you want to print the particular date,
Hey, Amarjit, can you
yeah,
hello,
yes, yes,
Amarjit, can you show me the throw one? Try, catch, and throw is there, right?
yes, yes. This is the throws
Yeah,
keyword. So this
Java.
is throws. So we have two things is there. One is throw and other is throws. So what is the difference? We will see that first you have to check this throw and then throws and then the difference. So this is the throws. Yeah, this is the throw keyword. So throw keyword. So this is mostly used to Java throw keyword is used to throw an exception explicitly. In that cases we can just throw explicitly. In that cases we will go for the Java throws keyword. So how we will do here, see here in this program, this is the program, right? We have a test throws. So this is the program, we have a main method, inside that we have an integer of age is there. Now we are checking this age. If age is greater than, we have a conditional statement. If age is less than 18, if age is less than 18, then we have this throw arithmetical exception, like this is not eligible. This if age is less than 18 means we are throwing, like explicitly if you want to throw this, then you can go for the throw keyword. So new arithmetical exception, like person is not eligible for this vote, directly we can print this. Or else if age is greater than, then person is eligible for that. In that cases mostly we will use the throws keyword. So see here, person is not eligible. If you are running this program, then you will get an exception by using throws. Why? Because of we are not using directly, we put it as a thrown. In this case also have same, person is eligible for the vote or not. So they are taking this file readers and all, and from their method to this is different thing, throws keyword. See here, so this is a some user defined exception. In user defined exception they are creating exception. So this is the user defined exception, means we can create a custom exception also. So most of the project we seen, like suppose if you have a promo code operation or promo code business or cart business, in that cart exception, cart not found exception or something will be there. So like that we can create a custom exception also. How we will create a custom exception? We have to create a class name as a custom exception, and we have to extend the exception class. Why? Because exception class is a parent class of all the exception. So we need to extend that. If you are extending, then any of the exception you can create as a custom, either runtime, compile times and all. So here we have a user defined exception extend, and then in this public we have to created a constructor here. See, this is a constructor which is passing as a string here, a string argument. And then supers we are using. So super immediate parent class of constructor will be called, or immediate parent class information if you want to print, then that will be printed. So here string str we have. So str will come from this where super class. So super class is what, which class? Exception class. So see, calling constructor from the parent class exception. So this is the way we can create a exception, custom exception. So a real world project, every time we will see many of where we are creating a custom exception. So this way we can create a custom exception. After that we can use this user defined exception anywhere. So here what you'll see in this exception, they are using some user defined exception. See, main method, inside that we have a try block, and here they are doing throw. So throw new user defined exception, means user is, this user is user defined exception. And then we have a catch exception. So user defined exception UDE, and then this is there. So this is the throws. Directly we can, if you want to explicitly throw this exception, then you can use the throws exception. Either if any exception will coming in this try block, then if you want to handle this exception, then we will go for the catch block exception, and we will see what is throws and all. So this is the throws. So throws is a Java keyword which is used to the declare the exception. This is used for the declare the exception. Like inside that we have to declare exception, and throw we can use to explicitly handle the exception. So in this case, what we have doing, see this example. This is a throws, right? So this is throws which have declared the exception as a IO type exception we are declaring here. So we will handle or we will throw explicitly by using throw keyword IO exception only. So in this test method, class is there. This class having m1 m method, and inside this method label we are throwing the exception. What type of exception will be there? We knows like IO type of exception we will throws. So this throws is used to declare the exception inside this method, and throws is used to explicitly handle the exceptions like explicitly. So by using new keyword we can handle the exception, what type of exception you want to throw. So no need to use either try catch for this, and try will have some exception will occur. For that if you want to handle, then we will go for the catch block. So see here some difference is there, throws and throws. So Java throws keyword is used to throw the exception explicitly in the code inside the function or block of the code. Anywhere we will throw the exception explicitly. But throws keyword is used to in this method signature to declare the exception which might be thrown by the function while executing the code. So we need to use to declare the exception. In that cases we will go for throws ws, and throws w means we have to explicitly handle this throw the exception. And if you want to handle the exception, in that cases we have try catch block, and try block we have some exception will come. So for that you have to handle the exception, then we can go for the catch block. If you want to throw the exception, then we will go for the throws block, and if you want to declare the exception, then we will go for the throws keyword. Understand?
Yeah.
So just you can go through this exception part here. This is a small topic. So only
Can
have
you
a
show one more example for finally?
finally, yeah, finally also, yes. So this is the finally block. So finally will always execute. Either is throw try through block is executing or not. Finally, if you want to if your project program have some of the requirement which have either exception is coming or not, we need to execute this line of code. So in that cases we have to use the finally block. So finally block will always execute it. See here, if we are checking, this is the flow chart. So program code exception. Suppose if exception is not occurred, then no issues. If exception is not occurred, then no issues. That will go for this finally block. Means final block is there, that also we have to execute. Always this will be executed. If any exception is coming, in that cases what will happen? Exception handler will be there. So how we will handle? Either try catch, others we have throws, and then throws keyword declaration of exception. So this way if any exception is handled, then we have to handle that. If you are not handling or something happen, then it will go for this finally block. So finally will always execute in every conditions, either you are handling the exception or not, that is not matter. So what is finally block? So finally block is, see there, finally block is a block which is used to execute important code such as closing connections. Suppose if you have database connection, which I told like we have a three layer of architectures, either UI, then backend Java, and then database. So in database connection, we will create a Java logic where we have to create a connection for the database. We have to insert the database information, and once the insert the database operations, then we have to close the connections. If you are not closing the connections, always database connections will be opened here, and your program will be terminated or something will happen out of memory error will come. So in that cases, this will finally block will be used in that case. If you'll go for any project where we are doing database uh, creations or database client adding in the Java code, there we will see finally block we are using. So finally block is used to execute the important code such as closing connections or anything which you want to print always, either your exception is occurring or not. Then we will go for the final block. So why finally block? So finally block is a Java can be used for this cleanup code such as closing the file, closing the database connections. In that cases, we will use a finally block. So how to use the finally block? So this is the program. See here, this is the main class. So this main class having main method. Inside that, some exception is happening here. So this is, if any exception is happening, then we will use the try block. So inside this try block, we are passing some variable integer data 25 divided by 5. So maybe that will be fine or not. If not, then some exception will occur. I'm not sure. So if you are doing some divide by 25 by 5, then some data will come here. So below code do not have any exception in that case. If you will do here 25 by 0, then some arithmetical exception will come. But in this case, there is no exception will occur. Then fine. And in catch, so in this case, if any no exception will occur, then catch block will won't be executed. Why? Because if any exception will occur, then only catch block will handle the exception. But here what will happen? This catch block won't work here because we don't have any exception. If you have some null pointer exception or arithmetical exception will occur, in that cases we will go for this catch block. But here we have mentioned null pointer exception and there is no exception inside that, so this won't be work. And after that we have a finally block, right? So this will be executed always. So either exception occurred or not. In these cases also exception block will be executed always. So finally block always executed. That cases we have to use finally block. How you will create a finally block? Just final as a keyword, finally as a keyword. Inside this open braces, close braces, and put whatever statement you want. So if you run this program, so output is 5, then finally block will be executed, then some SOP is there that will be printed, rest of the code. Understand? And here
Yes.
if you have make as a catch block, inside only null pointer exception you are handling, then if 25 divided by 0, this is arithmetical exception, right? So this is arithmetical exception that is not handled by this catch block. Why? Because here we have mentioned only null pointer exception. Either you have to mention exception is the parent class exception or you have to mention arithmetical exception, then only that will be handled. If you are doing null pointer will handle only check the null, not others. So this C cannot handle this arithmetical exception here. Only accept null pointer exception in this case. Why? Because of either you have to, if you are doing this one, this is the hierarchy. Either you have to mention exception class because exception is the main class. Either you have to use this class or you have to mention proper this one. Or else you can use runtime exception also because runtime is the parent class for these all. Arithmetical, null pointer, number format, index. And index out of bound exception is the parent of array out of bound and a string out of bound, right? So if you want to handle these two exceptions, then either you have to mention the proper name array out of bound exception or a string out of bound exception. If you are not using, then you can use the parent class of f exception. But in this case, if you are handling arithmetical and arithmetical is not there, sorry, if you are handling null pointer in catch block and that is arithmetical exception, then either you have to mention arithmetical exception or else you have to mention this runtime exception, or else you have to mention the exception here. Then only it will be applicable. Always you have to use the same exception or parent class, immediate parent class, or any parent class. So understand?
Yes.
Just go through this exception part. If you have any doubt, then we will complete that. Because for this, these all are the small topic which we will use in our project. So that's why I have given some overview for this. What is exception
Okay.
and how we will handle that. After that, we have a date time. So this date time is a small topic, very small topic is there. Where is that? This date time, mostly if you want to show this particular date and time for the particular operation, uh, or if some of the batch you are running, or something, some report you are generating, or any operation you are doing, in that you have to print some date or time. So we have a date time API, so that is also coming from in java.util.package. So we seen like many package we are importing before, right? Import package or package something like that. We have a util package where datetime API is there, or in SQL also we have datetime API. Datetime API will have to show either local date or some standard date format, or something. So these all are the format is there, like whatever the format you want to print your application or in your report generating or anything. In that cases we have multiple format are there we can use. So if you will use that, if you will use that, then you will get a proper date according to that. See here. So this is the project, sorry, this is the import package. So here we are using import java.time from local date. So this is the class. Local date is some class where we are importing this date time, local time date. And here we have a class is a local date example. This is the class. Inside that we have a main method. Inside this main method, just we created local date, date equal to local date dot now. So local date is coming from where? From different class which I imported. So this is imported local date as a class somewhere in this different package. So that's why we imported here. Import java.time.local date. So local date, we are creating the object here. Local date, date equal to local date having some now method is there. So this local date having some now method is there. So if you have now method, if you have used here, and after that we have local date yesterday, then date minus day 1, local date tomorrow, day yesterday plus day 2 and something. So these all are the methods are there. If you are using local date, then we have a now method, we have a minus method, minus day method, plus day methods and all. So if you will do there this date, then you will get a some today date. If you want minus days 1, then yesterday date you will get. So whatever the format will be there in that, like year, month, and then days. And if you want tomorrow's, then we have a plus days. Plus day means next day of tomorrow, like that. So if you want to print anywhere in your applications, or while you are generating report, or while you are doing database operations, so that operations can trigger or add this date, then we can use the multiple date time API. So we have a different type of formats are there. We seen this is local date. Now this is local Java local class, local time class. So this local time class having also these all are the methods are there, like local time now. So if you use this now method, then just whatever the times will be there, that will be print. Many or methods are there. So mostly we will use some like now methods and all others also. So see here, This is coming from local time. Why? Because we have a local time class is there, right? So this is the local time. So we imported this local time class. Then we have a class inside this main method. So this main method, we have a local time. Local time, we created object, and local time equal to now. So inside this local time we have now method is there. So this now method, you see what is there. This now method, it is used to obtain the current time from the system close in this default time zone. So current time, if you want to print, if you are doing some operation, so if we have doing some payment from the UPI, internet banking or anywhere, so we are seeing this times as noted there. So when we have made the transaction, so transaction date, transaction time, transaction times will be milliseconds and all. So that also, if you want to print in your application, then we have some different method. So this way we can print, or we, if you want different method, then you have to use multiple classes are there. We have a local date time is there. So this also is there. We have a month day is there. So if you want to print like this days this way, so we have no time, only month, years and all. Days, month and years, if you want to print no time, then we have to use this class month days. Month days is the Java class, Java datetime API class, which is used here. So we have to import this one. Time dot star means anything will be coming, either month, date or any classes will be there, that all will come here. So inside this java dot time dot star means all the classes will come. So either month, day will be there, or some other classes also will be there, will become here, coming here. And after that we have a class. This class having main method, we created the object from which month day. Month day is a class, for that we created object, and we are printing now. So that we are printing now. And then again local date equal to month date at year 94. So at is the at year, one more method is there. So we need to check what is at year method. So this at year, see here, local date at year is there. So it is used to combine this month days in a year to create a local date. So in this case, if you want to create a month days with a year, in that cases we can use this inside this month days class, add this year and mention the year name. Then the output will print like this. So we have a multiples are there in date time. So date time is a very small topic. Just whatever the date time class you want to use, just import that. Import this either a star or mention the class name, exact class name, and then we have to create the object. And then once you created the object, then we have a method will be there. So whatever the method you want, you have to remind this all method, either now method you want, or local time method you want, or is after method you want, before method not. So many are there, but these all are we are not using right now. Mostly we are using some 2 3 which is coming from Java 8. So that also we will show you in this Java 8 date time. So this is the here curriculum. So in this we have a Java 8. So the Java 8 is a lambda expression and a static import. Inside that we will also cover date time, lambda interface function, stream and parallel stream, advanced streams and all. And then there we will also consider the date time inside that also. So this is the date time functionality. So this date time mostly is coming from whatever we will use in our project, that is coming from util.date or sql.date. So these two only we will use, util or SQL. So in util, if you see, this is coming from Java. So Java by default we have one util package is there, len package and util package. So by default all the classes will use a util package, len package, but if you want util package then you have to import that package. So mostly we used date method or date method, long millisecond, these things we are using. So in utils we have these all are the methods are there. See somewhere you will see in your program or somewhere in this project you will see like that this date is coming, the days, then whatever the date is there with the month, and then timestamp either ist gst or anything est and all, and then years will be there. So if you want to print like this format, this date in your application, then how you will print? So you have to use this way. java util java util date is the package. Java util is the package where we have a date class is there. We created the object, so like that also we can create the object, right? We can add the exact package informations detail with the class, then we create a reference, and then by using new keyword java new java date util date we created. So once you use this one, so this date have util dot date having some date which will be printed this way also. The second way, if you want long millisecond, so in that cases we have a long millisecond system dot current time millisecond, and then java util dot date, this is the date class. From the date class we have this method. So if you use days in millisecond, so this millisecond is coming from system dot current time millisecond is the method which is taking the system time in millisecond and which is taking here as a long, because that millisecond will be maybe in long format. So that millisecond we are using as a here, and this date will be printed. Now SOP, this date will come like this millisecond. So this way also we can print, or this way also we will print. So this is the date time is there. So how we will use? So mostly we are using in Java date. So see this all Java 8 date time is also there. So Java 8 date time is having Java date time API, local date, local time if you want local date, local time, local date time if you want month day, if you want offset time. So these all are there, many things are there, but always we have to remember these four only: date time API, local date, local time, and local date time only. So these all we are using on daily basis in Java 8 also. See here in Java 8 we have a local date is the class, same. So local date is the class, there we have a multiples methods are there. So depends on the requirement, directly we can search in Google, because these all we can't remind all the methods and all. So just search on the Google and then directly you have to use this. So if you want to use local date now, so the now method means immediate, whatever the time is executing or happening, the same it will be print. Then day 1 minus 2 minus 3, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, yesterday, like that we have a multiples method is there that we have to print. Leap year, non-leap year and all we have to print like this. And then this is the local time class. So this local time class, so these all are the methods are there: add date, compare to date formats and all. So if you want to print like this format, then how you will use this way: local date time. So local date time is a class, so we created the object and here we have a now method. So this is local date time. Before we seen local date. So this is local date, and here is, so if you are doing local date, then your output will be look like this: local date dot now something, or this way. And if you are doing some local date time, so local time is there. So local time means local time now means this will be printed. This is time because we use local time. If you use local date, then local date will be printed. If you use local time now, then local times will be printed. If you use local month or something, then month will be there in that. Even we can also customize this date, time and all. Even SQL, while we'll go for this SQL also, we have a date format, so that also we can see, because in database while we are creating, there also we are using date. So these all are the basic topic of date and exception. So I request you to everyone to just go through this date, time and exception, and then tomorrow we will go for multi-threading and collection, and after that we will start SQL, then tools, then React. Is this fine? Because mostly we cover all this programming which is basic for this. Now we will go for some of the theoretical from this 2 3 topic, and after that we will go for the real time project which we have a full stack training. Are you fine for this? Any doubt? Okay, then go through this
Yes.
exception and date time, and any doubt please let me know so that we will go for the different way. Then here we are closing this session. Thank you all.